while editing this video, I figured out that I hated the intro I filmed and that I didn't film an outro, so that's what I'm doing now. I actually read A Little Life last month. It has been about like 3 weeks since I finished this book. A lot of people talk about and a lot of people have different opinions on. I definitely do have some opinions myself. Let's just say going into this, I didn't know a lot. I knew it was a book about friendship and that it apparently is very sad. I did not read the trigger warnings for this book, and if you want to read it or if you want to give it to someone else to read, please do so. Read the trigger warnings. I didn't, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And it was not a book about friendship, in my opinion. I mean, it was, but let's just say for me the friendship aspect of everything was just a secondary plot, and the main plot I paid attention to was much darker than this. But yeah, I just filmed little clips of me reading and also a little bit about my daily life that I included in this video. Yeah, and I hope you will enjoy, and I will film my final thoughts at the end now, so enjoy me on my roller coaster while reading A Little Life. I have had it in my collection for some time now, and I was kind of trying to gather my emotional strength to read this, because I heard that it will be destroying me emotionally, and I am an emotional wreck on the daily basis. It is very easy to make me cry. Maybe it won't have such an impact on me. We have to find out. I am about 50 pages in right now, and it's just a book about 4 friends, 4 male characters, and they are living in New York, and it follows their life, I guess. They're just about they're in their mid-20s right now at the beginning, and you also get to know a little bit about their backstory. They met in college, and yeah, now each character is described individually. So far I know that there is Willem, who aspires to be an actor but is a waiter to get his money in and doesn't know if he ever will be an actor, and JB, who is an artist currently working at the reception of a magazine because he hopes to get the people to recognize his art and feature him on the magazine while he's working there. So the reception job is just a cover-up for getting to know important people in the business. And the other 2 are Malcolm and Jude, but I haven't read their introduction stories yet, so I can't tell you what they are right now. We are going to find out together. I don't know how I feel yet. Exactly. The first pages I thought that maybe this isn't a book for me, but I have to say that I noticed that the style this book is written, it really lets you sink into a story and forget everything else around you in a way I have not experienced a lot before, because I am starting to read. I'm still at the point where each individual character is introduced more precisely, and we get to know more about their past and their families and their upbringing and stuff like this, and it's just, to me, so I don't even have a word for it, but the story starts with a normal everyday situation and then spirals into the author telling us about the character and their feelings and what made them the way they are today without you even noticing. I was reading and then somehow came back to consciousness and was like, wow, okay, weren't we just not going with him to his normal job? And all of a sudden I know what he did in a summer vacation when he went to college, and that his parents and him had a difficult relationship. It's I don't know, the author's way of telling us these backstories just amazes me. I have to say, I don't know if it's a book I will particularly enjoy for the story alone, but I really enjoy the style that it is written in so far. But I mean, I have a lot of pages to go, so let's see. I am about 200 pages in the book. That's how far I've come. And I have to say, I do really like it. And especially the last chapter I read had me smiling a lot. I'm really falling in love with especially two of the characters. But I have a longer time to go, so maybe the other two will also find a way into my heart. But I do have to say that it's not a book that I desperately want to read. I mean, I really have to sit down and not force myself to read, but it's not that it's a book, you know, these books you just can't put out of your hands and you have to read no matter what other activities you should do in the meantime, but you just want to read the book. For me, until now, it's not like that. When I'm reading, I really enjoy it, and I don't realize how much time is passing. But it takes me some time to pick it up and start reading. So that's I thought I would not necessarily enjoy reading more, but I thought I would be more eager to read this book. But I'm excited for what is about to come. Still have a long way to go, so let me just continue reading. Quick update. That's how far I've come. I just reached the happy years. I hope they're going to be happy, but I have a feeling they will not. This story is not what I expected it to be at all. I mean, it's true, it is a book about friendship, but the backstory to this one character is just very, very hard to read. I've cried multiple times already, and I feel like I know these people, and sometimes I even forget that they don't exist, that it's a fiction book. I just think I'm reading about people I know, like in my real life, and that makes it even harder to read. It's nothing for a weak mind. It's I'm even struggling to find the words to describe what this book makes me feel. But I'm very, very afraid of the next chapters, because I have seen people bawl their eyes out about what happens in this part. And I don't know if I can handle it. See you probably when I'm crying. Update. I am very afraid. I am very, very afraid. Everything seems to be going quite good, and it makes me very happy to read the happy years so far. But this makes me even more frightened that everything will get messed up soon and that I will be crying. So let's hope for the best. As I already mentioned, it has been a few weeks since finishing this book, so maybe my thoughts are not like my initial thoughts after just finishing it, but after having some time to process everything I read. And I gave this book 3 stars, and I was not underwhelmed would be the wrong word for it, but I was definitely expecting something else. I was expecting a sad story about friendship that will be told from college until like probably death. But I did not expect the story to go the way it went. And I personally, if you don't want to get like some slight little spoilers, I won't spoil anything about the content itself, but maybe I will tell you a little more than you want to know before going into a book, because I sometimes like to go into books without knowing like too much about what is happening. But if you're one of these people, can click off now. But if you want to hear my opinion, you can keep watching. I thought we get introduced to like 4 different characters, and I was expecting a plot and a storyline that will be divided equally for every character, but I think that 2 people, and explicitly 1 person, got all the spotlight, and the others were just like secondary characters in his life. And he definitely has the most traumatizing past for sure, and it was horrible to read. But I was a little sad that the other characters were like introduced as the main characters in the very first chapters, and then after like a few hundred pages it shifted to be only a story about one character in particular, with little side stories about his best friends, kind of. Which I thought was a little sad, because the others definitely deserved to have more things to be told about them. I think at least I would have liked to know more about their lives. And yeah, I actually gave this book to my mom as a birthday present, and she hasn't read it already. I don't even know if I should recommend her to read it anymore, because it's definitely a story that will stick with me forever and that I will think about for like all my life. But I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Don't know if I was ready to read things like this. It didn't make me cry as much as I thought, especially because I'm such a crybaby and I cry about everything, and I definitely cried reading this, but I think I was more shocked and disgusted, and I don't know, it just didn't make me cry. It made me feel sick in my stomach, which is even worse. It is written incredibly, that's nothing to argue about. I just don't know if the story was the right one for me. But I think that's a me problem. I should have read the trigger warnings beforehand and not just listen to people who say this is a good book and that you should read it, which I agree, it is a book that very impactful, very beautifully written, and has a very sad look onto what trauma can do to a person and what not talking about your trauma can do to you. And that's a very important message to tell. but it's very difficult to read things like this when you live in a perfect world where your problems compared to the ones mentioned in this book are like such minor things. But yeah, I think it was a good book. I didn't really enjoy reading it though, but I'm glad I did. I just don't know if it was the right timing for me to read it. These are my general thoughts. I don't think I will ever reread it, but I am pretty sure that some of these passages and some things that were mentioned in this book will stick with me for the rest of my life. So if that's not telling this is a good book, I don't know what is, but please promise me if you want to read this book, read the trigger warnings beforehand, and if there is anything that you think you're not ready to consume, then don't read it, please. Yeah, that's basically everything I wanted to tell. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm excited to see myself what I make of all the little little bits and pieces I filmed throughout the process of reading it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching and see you next time. Bye.